I have absolutely bloody no idea what episode number we're on. But, as always, welcome to the Walk the Talk podcast. Hello everyone, it's Rachel here, your host at the Walk the Talk podcast. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world and wherever you're listening to this from. So I've been missing in action for a while. Allow me to explain. For those of you that don't know, I'm currently travelling in Australia for 9 months. And for those of you that have visited Australia, you will know that the internet connection over here is dodgy. So it's been very difficult to get a good enough connection to, one, record interviews with people, and two, to actually upload the audio file to the podcast. So apologies for that. But hopefully we'll be a bit more regular now that I'm in the one place for long enough. So I have a bit of a different interview for you today. As you know, I've been travelling for a long time, and I never stay in the same place for longer than about a year. So in December, I took off to Australia, December last year, and had really no idea what I was going to be doing. But I have connected with and met lots of really cool people, and one of those people, or two of those people, or a family that I have connected with are the Galways from Galways Go Round, and the Galways have just completed a lap of Australia. Yes, 30,000 kilometre lap of Australia with their family and their caravan. And I wanted to interview them to find out how they did it, why they did it, and to give you a little bit of inspiration to maybe get up and go, pack your shit and bugger off if that's what you fancy doing, or even if you just want to make a big shift in your life, in whatever area of your life that might be. I always like to speak to inspiring people, and this family are extremely inspiring. So without further ado, I give you the Galways from Galways Go Round. Enjoy the interview. All right, so I have Galways Go Round on the podcast today, travelling family of 5 who have just finished a lap of Australia in their caravan. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi Rachel.
Hello.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and have a chat with me. I think it's really exciting because it's not something that I've ever, it's not something we've ever spoken about on the podcast before. It's totally new, so thank you.
Pleasure.
It's fine.
It's great to be here.
So you have just finished a lap of Australia in your caravan with your family.
Correct, yeah. We've just finished a 6-month full circle lap of Australia. We have 3 children, 12, 7 and 4 years of age, so a bit of a gap in age. Yep. Did a whole lap around, spent plenty of time, saw tons, but there's still so much more to see, as this is a very big country.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm learning that. So tell me a little bit about your family. Like, where do you live? Where do you live? That I know that might be a really hard question to answer. Who's who? When did you start? What inspired you? Let's start right from the beginning.
Yeah, all right. Well, so originally we're from Sydney. Both Adam and I have grown up in Sydney. We've been together for 25 years, and we've had very steady and stable jobs down in Sydney. So Adam's a chef and I was a teacher. Got married, had our 3 kids, bought our home down there in Sydney and had a fantastic life. We both sort of climbed the corporate ladder in both of our fields. And then we had a trip to Tasmania. So we've been caravanning for quite a long time, since 2009, and we had a trip to Tasmania that was about a 5-week trip. And actually we went from Tasmania and then came up the centre of Victoria and New South Wales up to Coffs Harbour, which is where we've had our annual holiday now for about 13 years. And during that trip we decided that we were going to write a bucket list. So we started our 50 by 50 list, and really our 50 by 50 changed our life. like we never even
imagined it would have.
Yeah, so. It just it changed our life. It really put us in touch with what mattered, and we started to realise that even though we had a wonderful life and we had everything that we'd worked hard for, we just realised that it wasn't actually our best life. It wasn't the life that that aligned with our deepest desires. So things started to change. We were already caravanning, already enjoying the outdoors and that lifestyle. But what we decided to do pretty quickly, we only decided in January 2017 that we were going to sell our house in Sydney, leave our jobs, and move into a caravan and travel Australia. So by the 1st of June, we set sail out of Sydney and never looked back.
Wow. So tell me a bit more about this 50 by 50 list before we go on. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's basically, it's just a to-do list. It's just like everyone, I believe, has ideas in their own head of what they want to do and achieve in life. And we just decided we want to put them down on paper. So we put them down on paper, so therefore we could actually keep referring to them. We've changed them along the line as well. It's not all monetary valued as well, like own a Ferrari or own a helicopter.
Even though that was on there. So that was
it
changed.
Was just just little things that we've added, just stuff that you always talk about doing but never do. Like just an example of one of the things was a skin check. Australia's pretty harsh environment. The sun's pretty tough down where we are, so therefore we decided we want to just get our skin checked to make sure everything was fine. And that was something like not monetary valued, but just a value to what Sharon and I wanted to do. And so we just started to put things down and align things to what we wanted to do and what we wanted to achieve, and
places we wanted to go, things we wanted to see, experience.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So that's how it started.
And just things that helped us live our best life. So we've got another one that we're actually needing to tick off the list. It's been delayed the last couple of weeks, but that's go and see a financial planner. Just things like that really put you in touch with focusing on the big picture. It's really easy in a busy life, especially in a big city, to feel overwhelmed by day to day. And I think when you have your eye on the prize, which is living your best life, and those goals aren't too far, which is why we only set it for 10, 12 years, being the age of 50. So 50 things by the age of 50, and we're already starting to accumulate things on our 60 by 60.
We have ticked. The trip was obviously on.
That was a big one.
There was
a lot on the trip that we wanted to tick off. So
a lot of places, a lot of experiences we wanted to do, and we actually planned our trip not around our 50 by 50, but that was a big part of us to choosing where we wanted to go, where we wanted to stay, things we wanted to see. And we followed families along their travels as well. And when you see Instagram photos or Facebook posts of nice places that you think, gee, that's suitable to us, absolutely, that was stuff we added to our trip. But there's also places we saw that we had originally thought about and planned that we we're going to go to, that we sort of thought, we'd seen it on someone's Instagram photo, but maybe it wasn't for us at that time. So yeah.
I can identify with that. That's how I ended up in Coffs Harbour from seeing Instagram photos. I was like, oh God, I need to go there. It looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. And so Coffs Harbour for us now is a place that we call home, even though we live in our van. So we have a house at a little suburb called Sandy Beach here on the Coffs Coast, and it's rented out, and we just did that to keep in the property market. But we actually have no intention of moving in anytime soon. But our kids are enrolled in school here now because we wanted to get them back into school. We're not homeschoolers; it's not our thing. And wonderful for those families who can cope. I can't.
I don't know how to do it.
So we put our kids back into school, and we stay in the van. So we feel like we've sort of got a foot in both camps at the moment, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the homeschooling thing for us is it's hard enough to get your children to make their beds. And trying to sit down and teach them how to read and write. So we just went, no way.
Leave that up to the professionals.
Even though Sharon's former...
Yeah, I was just going to say.
No, that's my work hat. I want to put my mum hat on.
Yeah.
No, it's just not for us.
No.
Yeah, and our kids actually love school. So, you know, what better way to have them enjoy the best of both worlds?
Yeah, exactly. So when you decided in January 2017 that you wanted to sell up and bugger off, as I said, and how did you go? What was it? I just to give you a bit of background, that's actually what I did to come out here. In December last year, I sold everything, including the kitchen sink, and and flew over here. So 6 months is not a long time to do all of that.
No.
As well as plan a trip around Australia, which we've already, covered. We can fit, like, for example, you can fit the United Kingdom into Australia 31 times, I think, 32 times. So just to give my listeners, because a lot of them are in the UK, a rough idea of quite how big this country is.
Yeah.
6 months is not a long time to sail up and also plan a trip around Australia. So did you have a process for that, or was it sort of...
we had a process, a planned leave date, what we wanted to do. And the property market in Sydney, major cities in Australia, Sydney specifically, is hot. So therefore, you put it on the market, a couple of weeks later they're gone. There's no lay time. There's so many people moving to major cities in Australia.
We were fortunate too that having had quite a long career in teaching, the moment that we decided to do it, we decided on a Saturday night, and I walked into work on a Monday morning and I told my boss, and I said, "You've got me for 3 weeks. I had some stuff I needed to tie up. I said, you've got me for 3 weeks, and then I'm going on long service leave, and then I'm going on leave without pay, and I'm never coming back." So I knew that I couldn't, there was no way that we could achieve that without me being full-time available to give all my energy to that. And it did take every bit of my energy. But we had planned to actually do a 3-month smaller lap this year in June. So, or July.
So we had the plans. We had the itinerary sort of done, sort of sorted already what we wanted to do, and we use Wikicamps for our planning. So therefore, we had a big plan from that, and all we just extended times in places we wanted to go to. So the reason we only did 6 months, and not 12 or 2 years is the fact that our oldest daughter was going to start high school. So we just wanted to make sure we were moving to a new area that she was actually. For us, it was important that she started on day one with everyone else. Otherwise, we'd hate a new area. Friendships are formed 6 months into it. She arrived 6 months later into year 7, and therefore, she's fighting to find friends, and we just didn't want her to have that. So we just thought, fair to her, she has to start that way. So that's why we had to squash it down to 6.
Yeah, I know, that's awesome. And what is it? Something you've always wanted to do, or do a full lap? Has it just always been
the travel for us? As I said, we've had, this is our fourth caravan. We've been doing this since 2009. So caravanning,
and then
so
before that we were in a tent.
We've done a bit of travel. Always wanted to go down and see, the country, see what it is. I
don't think we ever thought we could do it at the age that we're at. We never imagined that we'd be able to do it with our kids. It was always something that we thought we'd do when we'd be grey nomads after we retire. We never ever thought that it would be achievable to have that much time off work and go and enjoy that as a family. So.
I just remember we'd still travel, and we're down the Great Ocean Road in Victoria once, and we met some German people who were staying next to us, and they had a camper van, and they'd said, "Oh, have you been to Cairns? Have you been here? Have you been here?" And they rattled off all these places down Australia, and Sharon and I just thought, there's Cairns we'd been to, but I mean, a lot in between we hadn't actually seen, and we thought, we've got so many tourists coming over to Australia to see this place. We can't even comment on our own country. It's ridiculous. So we really needed to make the idea. We wanted to see Australia. So
yeah, I get that a lot as well when I'm here speaking to people, and they're like, "Oh my God, you've seen more of our country than we have." But
it's actually really, it's increasingly common, but that families are travelling. But a lot of Australians choose to go overseas, and especially coming of age. our young people, they want to go to Europe and experience Europe or America. But, really the adventure is right here. So, where the rest of the world comes here for a rite of passage, our young people go overseas and really, they should be going to the top end. That's where it's at.
No, it works the same in reverse though. Like, it's embarrassing how little of Scotland that I've seen. And I've spent like a lot of time in Australia since like pretty much the day I was old enough to go on a plane by myself. So it's kind of inspired me to, when I get home, to actually see a bit of my own country. So lots of people here have inspired me to do that as well. A lot of people ask me, what's it like here? And I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing, but I've never been any further north than Perth, which is not far at all. So I will be making it a priority.
I think it changes you as a person, like we don't feel the same people that we were before we left, and we actually feel a stronger connection to our country because we feel more ownership over it. We understand it a lot better than what we ever did. And, I think Australians tend to go, yeah, I'm Australian. Like, of course I understand my country, but do you really? It's not until you move amongst as much of it as you can that you get a deeper understanding for our identity. So it's life-changing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
As you're saying, the size of the country is that big, but when you get to certain parts around the top end, everyone who travels sees the same bits, because there is a lot of it that there's a lot of nothing to see. So there is a lot of nothing. And when you come down the west coast from Broome all the way down to Perth, you can go inland and you can go off the beaten track a little bit, but most families and people that do travel Australia and do that route actually see the same things. So it's a big place, but there's only one road. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
So
for us, what we actually did 30,000 kilometres, nearly about 30,000 k's in 6 months of travel. So
that was Sydney to Sydney.
Yeah. Which direction did you go in?
We went anti-clockwise.
Up East Coast,
Yeah, so there's a bit of a humdrum around which way to go, clockwise or anti-clockwise. But really, there's no right or wrong way. It actually depends on which season you're leaving in and where you're leaving from. So we chased the sun. We headed north in June and, we chased the sun and avoided the wet, and it was perfect, really, wasn't it?
Yep.
We left at a great time. Yeah. We actually just trailed the peak time as well, which was really nice because it meant that it wasn't quite as busy, or when we'd arrive in places it'd be really hectic and then it'd quieten down within a couple of days, so it was good.
And we did caravan parks, we did campgrounds, we did showgrounds, we did free camping, we did national parks, we pretty much covered everything, not just because we wanted to, based on the places we wanted to see and what they had. We just decided what was the best thing for us to get close to the action at the time, so we pretty much covered everything. You can, and it doesn't matter, you can travel however you want and stay in whatever you want, so yeah,
it sounds amazing. It's very inspiring for me as well. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of really hard questions, and if someone asked me this, I would probably be like unable to answer. But did you have a favourite? Did you have a number one favourite part of Australia that you saw that you can instantly go, yeah, this is the place that I would.
I couldn't pinpoint a town.
Probably top 5.
But I'd say the top end is very unique in Australia. From the top
end's amazing.
Banker.
Probably from Dally Waters, famous pub. If you come to Australia or you go to the centre or the top end, you have to go to Dally Waters pub. It's just so Aussie and ochre and crazy, but it's awesome.
It's a good experience.
Probably from there up, like that whole top end was amazing, but we love Karajini National Park. It's just adventure from start to finish. We love the Kimberley, round Broome area and up the Dampier Peninsula, and also Tasmania. They're probably our
Darwin.
They're probably our top. It's top.
Kakadu, Litchfield, Darwin. They're all. It's very hard to. They're all very different.
Yeah.
Like in the Litchfield National Park and Kakadu is 300 or 400 kilometres apart, and one of them's full of water holes and swimming spots, and the other one's full of wildlife and a few water holes and swimming spots as well. But they're just so different.
Yeah, it's very it's Australia's own kind of exotic holiday. It's just it's rich, it's raw, it's rugged. You know, you've got the crocs, the waterfalls, the hot springs,
and the freshwater, the saltwater crocodiles. The freshwater crocodiles swim in a lot of the springs that you actually get to swim in as well. So enter at your own risk with a nice crocodile sign on the actual water before you get in. So
it's great. It's just pure adventure. It's amazing.
Yeah. So you've used the term top end quite a lot, but and I know what you're talking about. But for people that are listening in the UK, can you tell me some places that people might be able to recognise as being the top end of Australia?
Yeah, so probably the most famous would be Kakadu. So we're talking about the Northern Territory area, and so the top part of that. So Kakadu National Park, amazing. It's the largest national park in Australia. And then there's Darwin, which is the capital of the Northern Territory, and probably Litchfield National Park is another one as well. So they're all like in a nice little neat triangle up there.
And then across to...
And then if you wanted to head further across, it's not officially the top end as it's known, but, across in the Kimberley area is Broome and surrounds. So, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And have you got a least favourite? Was there somewhere that you went that you just didn't identify with?
There's a few underwhelming places, but, the weather can turn you as well.
Yeah.
We had some places, Ningaloo Reef, which was absolutely beautiful in the water.
Amazing.
However, outside of the water, it's very barren and there's not a lot to see.
And it's windy and it was all the time.
Western Australia was really, really windy. So therefore, if you go somewhere that's a beautiful place, beautiful weather, nice waves, nice weather, not a breath of wind, warm sunshine, it's magic. If you go there the next day and it's windy and it's chopped up, so probably... I'd say there's a few underwhelmed places, but I don't think it was the place's fault. I think we had expectations as well. So I wouldn't say there's nowhere where I would say not to go.
No.
There's everywhere that you got. There is a lot of highlights that were like shocked as well that we didn't expect it.
Yeah, but a lot of it, it's not always just about the place. It's equally as about the experience and often the people. Sometimes the most memorable places that you find are memorable because of the people that you meet there. We've made lifelong friends on our trips. So, some people say that Broome's terribly overrated, but we had the most wonderful time there, and it's not just about the place, it's about the people. So I think it's one of those things that all places, it's a case of, horses for courses. If some people love it, some people don't. There's places, like Adam said, that we felt rather underwhelmed, that maybe we had our expectations were too high, but that's travelling.
But people can travel. People can go to Sydney and how beautiful the harbour is and the surrounds are, and get in an Uber or a taxi through the eastern suburbs or around Central, and it's just traffic everywhere. So therefore, you'd be like, this is really disappointing. So it's kind of just like, I don't know. I think our mindset now is like, it's what it is.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a look at what it is. So we're a bit more relaxed around that scenario now.
Yeah. Oh no, that sounds like the best way to go about it. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I have to say, like, the experiences and the people definitely make or break the place a lot of the time. Yeah, and the weather. I'm just looking at it.
It has a huge impact. Some of the places that we wouldn't go back to are, some of the most popular places in Australia, and it was because, the lady on the reception desk might have been a grump, It doesn't make for a great arrival. I think that's, all those little things have an impact on you, but then other people can go and have the most amazing experience. So, it is what it is.
I'm going to ask a question that a lot of people are probably wondering now, and that is, how did you manage to go away from home, or go away for 6 months with kids? What were the logistics of this? So financially, did you work when you were away, or was it 6 months off completely from the world? Or a lot of people are thinking, well, it's okay, it's okay for them, like
they're rich.
they must be rich. How did you do it?
Because this isn't our first, we like to say first rodeo. We've actually travelled a little bit before. Our kids are quite comfortable in the car.
Mm-hmm.
They're very well.
They're amazing.
They very well have a good understanding of what they can and can't bring. So, we allocate them what they can and can't bring with toys. Especially we've got two younger ones, the 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So
who were 3 and 6 when we left.
So they knew what they could and can't take. Them as people have actually grown themselves in different environments. The children are just they've come out of their they weren't timid before, but they're more confident. They have understanding about what happens.
They're more resilient. Mm-hmm. They're more adaptable to their environment and people, and it's just
So that with the kids is easy. We've got a big caravan. Our caravan's 23 foot, so it's nearly 9 meters.
Wow!
So it's quite big. There's a lot of space in there for the kids as well. So they've got their own. They've got their own. I know they've got their own space that they actually can have. That's their own as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that it works for the van. Works for them. Even as we're a bit more stable at the moment of not moving so much, no one's actually said, "Oh, we want to get out of the van and get into a house."
Mm-hmm.
The children, they're happy where they are. Behind us is we're 15 meters off the beach.
Oh, wow!
So
in Woolgoolga,
so in the north. So we're actually we're in a good spot. They've got a playground out the back, which our 4-year-old treats it like it's his own personal park.
It's the public.
It's a public playground, so
he runs the show there.
They're very comfortable in the van. They're very comfortable where they are.
Yeah.
When we saved our money, we saved because we knew we were going to do the travel as well.
And we sold.
We sold a house in Sydney.
We sold most of our possessions.
We had a 3-day garage sale that sold dining tables, 2 dining tables, TVs, 2 lounges, TVs. We sold
everything.
Most of our possessions.
Yeah.
And so therefore
we kept a little bit of bedroom furniture, main appliances like fridge and washing machine.
Clothing.
A little bit of clothing, not a whole lot. And the rest we got rid of.
And so that's pretty much how, and we sold in Sydney. So we sold in Sydney in a high area and a high priced market, and we're able to buy not as high priced, so therefore we had a bit of money left over there. So that's pretty much how we funded it. No, we didn't work whilst we were doing it.
Adam did a little bit when we first left, but soon we just thought, no, this is not why we're doing this. We don't need to do it. So financially we just said it's just not worth it. We're better to focus on what we're here for. Otherwise we're kind of throwing it away a bit. So
we just decided, and even
so we chucked that in pretty early.
Oh, we had a budget what we wanted to spend, but we spent over what we wanted to spend.
Blew it.
We spent over because we had opportunity for experience, and that's what we decided. Our 12-year-old swam with a whale shark off Western Australia. So jumped into the water, 65 meters worth of water. Straight into the ocean water she went, and looking
swam
down
with a 9-meter whale shark.
So that's an experience that not everyone's going to get to do. So we just realised that
Adam and I did the horizontal waterfall tour from Broome, which was like a half-day flight, helicopter, jet boat. It was amazing.
If you haven't seen it or seen what it's about, you really need to Google it and have a look at that.
Yeah, I have been having a look because that's
unbelievable.
Like I have about 2.5 months unplanned from the middle of May till the middle of July. And
perfect time of year up there.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm heading, definitely. So
it's a natural wonder that the amount of volume of water that goes through that. So just to see, we're in a boat and 3 meters above us was the actual waterfall. Mm-hmm. That's how high it was above us on water level. So it's kind of hard to explain and hard to understand, but it was just. We had the opportunity to see those type of things, so we just took it.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Your listeners might like to check out our YouTube video. We've got one there of our horizontal waterfall day. So we got to swim with sharks that day, just Adam and I. Most amazing flight over a place called Buccaneer Archipelago, which is up in the Kimberley. I never used to get the whole cruise to Kimberley thing, but that's one of the things we've now got on our 60 by 60 list.
Yeah.
Cruising to Kimberley, but we need to save our pennies for that. It's very expensive.
And no children.
I've had a look at that.
Ourselves.
I've had a look at that, actually.
But just going back to traveling with the kids, I think, for anybody that would be considering doing that, there was a little bit of, at first, but it really came down to us adjusting to the fact that we were with our kids 24/7. We had very busy corporate jobs, and we always spent quality time with our kids in school holidays and when we go away, which we did a lot. But to actually be, day to day, every day, 24/7 with your kids, it did take quite a few weeks for actually us to adjust as equally as much as the kids. And once we got past that, it was wonderful. Like we started to just love it. We were great.
Yeah, I think they actually realised, because we've got a gap of 12 to 7, 5 years, that the two girls realised that they actually do have things in common as well.
Yeah.
They really...
And that we're not so bad.
Yeah. So they all realised...
We're the cool parents.
The two youngest ones actually always got on, but the older one and the middle one they realised, wow, we are actually alike.
Yeah.
So it was good for everyone.
It was great. It was just the most wonderful family experience ever. It may not start out that way, but, as I said, I think at the time we were like, oh, the kids are driving us mad. It's the kids. But really, in hindsight, it was actually us. It was us adjusting to it.
But we haven't told them that.
Yeah. we still have them believing that they've got to toe the line.
Brilliant. So have you got any your plans now to I think I lost you there for a second.
Oh,
you're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're back. So if anyone is listening right now, and hopefully people are, and they're thinking to themselves, this is something, and it doesn't need to be travel, it can be anything that people are thinking about doing that is maybe a bit different to what they're expected to do with their life, or maybe they've been itching to start a new business, or do what I did and sell everything and go to Australia on your own for 9 months and just kick around and see what happens.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone that's sitting there like with this little, what it's like? It's like someone's scratching your skin, and it's like you can't.
I think one of our favourite quotes is, "You're only ever one decision away from a completely different life," and it's the truth. This all started for us because we started to challenge the status quo. We were going to work every day. We weren't getting as much time together as a couple, let alone as a family. And really we just started to go, this, the great Australian dream was, have a mortgage and have a family and all that. And then we went, this isn't the great Australian dream. This is more like a freaking nightmare, like we just, this is not enjoyable anymore. I think there's something so powerful and amazing about taking your own life by the horns and going,
do what you want.
I'm going to do this and I'm actually going to make it work. And for us, this selling up was just the beginning, because we're now changing our own blog and story into a business as well. So, this is, for us, this is just the beginning for Galway's Go Round.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. So the only thing is just have a clear picture in your own head what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And then
write your 50 by 50 or your bucket list.
The bucket lists are great.
Yeah.
The bucket 50 by 50 is a thing you can always refer to. And we've had so many people ask us, can you please post your 50 by 50 list? But we're not.
No.
We're not doing it. So
No.
Yeah, just have a go. Life, life is yours to decide to do what you want in it.
Yeah.
There is.
It's too short to be living something that's not your best life, There are no rules, and I think, you know, anybody out there who just feels that something's not right, you know, reach out to other people who have done it, because you'll be inspired. Be inspired. We were inspired by other people who had particularly made sea changes or tree changes from their city life and decided to either move up the coast or down the coast or inland, and we were inspired by them. So that was a small part of our inspiration. Obviously, travel was high up there for us. And also our careers. We just decided that we wanted to spend more time together. So we're here right now with Adam's just taking a break from his job, and he works beside me. I mostly work on our Galways Go Round business, and he works in IT as a chef. Working for a company called Cook in the Books as well.
It's an inventory management system.
It's a bit hard.
So,
it's complicated.
It's a complicated one to explain to people. I work in IT and I'm a chef.
People don't get it. You know,
that's
they
awesome.
see working on his laptop, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a chef." But that's the thing. That's, you know, who would have ever dreamed that he could find a job like that, and he did. So I think there's the message right there. You know, think outside of the square, put it out there to the universe, be true to your dreams and what you want.
If your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough.
Yeah, that's our other favourite one.
I was really, me too. That's one of my absolute favourites, because I feel like I constantly live in this like slightly scared existence most of the time, but it's not like a bad scared. It's I wonder what will happen if I do this kind of like.
Well, even
magical.
After I'd resigned from my job, I still used to drive home. I had a month to stay there, and I'd shake my head and thinking, am I doing the right thing here? I still question my own head, just because that was the normal, what you're supposed to do is finish school, get a job, go to college, do whatever, go to university, get a job, and then work until you retire and then stop. I just still question myself, but I'm 100% comfortable with the decision we made.
Yeah. I think what you put out there to the universe and being true to yourself comes back and pays you immensely. So if there's anybody out there thinking about making a change, do it. Make sure it's radical, because life really does begin at the end of your comfort zone. It's an amazing feeling to know that you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Yeah,
oh, definitely. And I think a really good place to start is booking yourself a flight to the southern hemisphere. Come on down here, guys, if you're listening.
Come down under.
In the UK at the moment, at home, I speak to friends and family there quite often, and they've just had like one of the worst winters ever. It's been snowing so bad that even supermarkets and shopping centres haven't been able to get deliveries, and it's been and everyone's like, oh, you've picked the best winter to bugger off. Rachel, I was like, I know, and like I'm planning to bugger off every winter from now on. So if you're sitting up there thinking, I want to go to Australia, I think you totally should. Just do it.
And just remember, an Australian winter up the top end can be around 30 degrees, 25 to 30 degrees up the top end.
Yeah, that's why I'm heading there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't have winter last year, and it was amazing.
No sickness, no children sick, nothing. No one was sick at all. So
chase the sun.
Absolutely.
Just before we go, I thought we could finish with just talking about some stats from your trip. So I was on your website, and you've got your stats, like how many kilometers you did, how many pubs you visited. Did you count that?
We didn't. We tried not to eat out too much, because for a family that's really expensive when you're living on a budget. So we did 30,000 kilometers the whole way around. Stats. We spent the bulk of our time in caravan parks and national parks. We did do some stays in free camps. So we mixed it up a bit, and there were lots of thong blowouts. They don't make thongs like they used to. That was a bit of an issue for us, because sometimes you'd be in places where you literally cannot buy thongs.
So we actually kept the tally on the thong blowouts.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I think mine is about
Adam
4.
won that.
I won the thong blowout competitions. I had 4. We had stats on washing. We had stats on our. Oh, we don't have a washing machine, so we spend $12 a week on average
on washing
for the whole trip. We spent. Average accommodation spent for us for the entire time was I'm just reading the stats, $43 average a night per night.
Yeah. It was 184 nights from Sydney round back to Sydney.
We had 70 fuel stops along the way, and the most expensive we paid for fuel was $1.99.
Mm-hmm. That was in the centre.
It's in the centre.
Total spent on diesel $7,867. So that was a lot. We've realised that we're crap at fishing.
We're hopeless.
And so am I.
Caught 5 fish the whole time we were away, and that was on a fishing charter. Every time the lines went out, I caught an octopus. So with our 50 by 50 list, we ticked off 12 items on our trip. So that was great. We met loads of other travelling families, and a lot of them are bloggers like us, which was great. Lots of different things that we kept track of on our way round.
Oh, that's really cool.
We spent a little bit too much on alcohol. That was a bit naughty. Over $1,000 on alcohol in that time, but it was worth it. There were lots of happy hours. We came back with a few extra kilos since, so we've been working on that.
Yeah, me too, by the way.
Too many good pubs, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been really nice to talk to you, and hopefully we've inspired a lot of people out there to get on the road and see a bit of the world.
We have. Yeah, we hope we have.
Yeah.
It's been great sharing our story with you, Rachel. So thank you, and thanks to your listeners.
You're welcome. Well, if anyone is listening and wants to know more, I will put all the links of the YouTube video and your blog and a few other bits and pieces into the show notes as well of the podcast. So if you want to find out more and just get inspired to start your own trip, or get inspired to do whatever it is you want to do, then click on one of the links and that'll take you straight to the blog and you can read more. So thanks again, guys.
No problem.
Thank you. Thanks, Rachel.
I hope you enjoyed the interview, guys. I really enjoyed speaking to Sharon and Adam. And I wish them all the best of luck with their business and future travels as well. Let me know what you think of this type of podcast, because I am thinking of including some sort of travel inspired stories as well as I go along, because that's a big part of my life. And if you'd like me to share some of it with you, then I'd love to hear about it. A couple of things I'd love you to do for me just before you go. Scroll down to the bottom of your iTunes screen right now and leave me a review for the podcast, preferably a 5-star review, obviously. Please do that. It only takes 2 seconds and I'd really, really appreciate it, because it does help to get the podcast out there. And the second thing is, if you would like to know more about what the Galways are up to, make sure you check out the links that are in the show notes right in front of you on the screen of your phone right now. There are links there, you can find out more. And I suppose there is a third thing that I need to tell you about. Just in a few weeks' time, my new website will be launching, which is very exciting. And I have loads going on with a brand new course, and Transform 21 is getting a bit of a makeover as well. So yeah, let's all go here at Walk the Talk over on the other side of the world. If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at Rachel, that's RACHAEL, at walkthetalklife.com, and I will be very happy to hear from you. Right, until next time, catch you later.